All right, welcome to the SHTF Grill. We got a selection today. I've got a regular Cholula. I quite like this one. Regular Tabasco. This is also quite good. A chili lime Cholula. So a nice selection of hot sauces for this amazing meal we're gonna have today. And what do we got to eat? Silver coins. So one of these hot sauces we should be able to put on these and choke it down, don't you think? Should work, right? Right? We're gonna starve. We're gonna utterly starve out here. Nah. Well, anyways, you know what I'm gonna talk about today? Gold and silver in SHTF. They're gonna save us from all the calamity and all that. You should take every amount of money you can get your hands on and buy yourself gold and silver coins. They are going to save you. I have an opinion on that. I don't really believe it. In fact, I don't really recommend anyone buy gold and silver coins. Only buy them at the very end if you have everything else squared away and you are set. If you are buying gold and silver coins before you were putting away enough food for yourself and your loved ones, I think we need to have a talk about your priorities. That's not a good plan. All these people out there saying, go buy this gold and silver, go buy that, stock up in silver, stack silver high in your house. It's a bad plan. It really is. And let me explain why and go over all the details. Now see, when I started getting into prepping and all that, yeah, I fell for that. I fell for that idea to go buy some gold and silver. And actually, amazingly enough, I did not screw up horribly. The amount of silver coins we got here is, we got 8. I've got a total of 10. I didn't buy a ton of them, but I bought a couple when they were on sale and they were talking about it and things were uncertain when I was first getting started. Oh, let me put some money into it. I'll get some coins. Now, I think they're pretty. They're pretty neat. But then I started reading a lot. Reading about like what happened in the early 90s when the fall of the Soviet Union occurred and all the economic calamity and everything else that was going on. And reading about what's going on in Argentina and everything else. So let's say total SHTF happens. I mean, it's full-blown SHTF. The grid is down. It's mass pandemonium. The police, fire, all those people, EMS, emergency medical, they ain't coming. You're on your own. It's like that. So say you've got bread, you know, beans and other stuff like that, other food that you can sustain yourself on. You got a neighbor coming over, hey, I'd like to buy some of your food. I got silver to trade you. Okay, here's what's going to run through my mind when I get that. Is, A, they want to trade me something that only function is barter. I mean, you could melt it down and maybe you make some solders out of it, but mainly when we're talking about gold and silver, we're talking barter item. And only barter. It doesn't have another function where if I need to choose to use it, I can use it on that. It's just the function of barter. You see the point is I'm talking about that there? Now, if they came to me and said, hey, I've got, you know, all these strawberries that are going to go bad because I don't have a refrigerator right now, and I see you got beans, could I trade you some strawberries for beans? Because I need to store, you know, beans long term, and you could eat strawberries now fresh. Yeah, I would actually be willing to make trades like that. Or something like that. It's because that's sustenance for sustenance. That's a great idea. Or, you know, someone saying, hey, you know, I've got this old firearm. I don't have any rounds for it like that, but I could really use it. And it happens to, I mean, I can't use it. They're saying they can't use it. When I look at it, I'm like, oh, hey, you know, I can use some of the parts off of this to keep some of mine going. Yeah, that might be very reasonable. It's like that. The other problem is once SHTF starts here and major issues going on, what is the price of a loaf of bread? Is it 1 silver coin? 2 silver coins? I mean, 1 ounce of silver is trading right now, what, $16? So is a loaf of bread, when you have no idea where your next meal is coming from, sustainable, you're only using your stores, is $16 for a loaf of bread a reasonable cost? Well, initially, I'm going to say no. I would want something much higher. And that's the other problem, is people are not going to know how much something's worth. They're not going to know how much something costs, and they're really going to want to hang on to things. So things that don't have like an immediate use, unless you're going to con someone into buying this, I don't really see it as a great barter argument. Saying, hey, I've got, food of this type to trade for food of that type, sure. I've got matches, trade for candles or something like that, where you're actually trading real usable goods that people can say, hey, I need this. Or I've got antibiotics, I'll trade you for some of your extra bandages. You kind of see where I'm going at with that? That makes a lot of sense for barter. People would really be more willing to argue stuff like that. But this, you don't even know what the price is. When you're starting to think about what's my next meal, you're thinking in terms of meals, right? That's what your issue is. You're thinking about meals. And you just don't know what this other stuff is really worth, even if it has value. You just don't know. Now, the other thing is, so say you have a bunch of this, right? You've got a whole pile, thousands and thousands of coins. Well, that's going to be heavy as hell to move somewhere, okay? And then you are probably a really big target if you go walking down the road with a wagon full of silver. That's going to be a little draw attention to you. No gray man there, right? And the other question is, where are you going to trade that in at? A lot of those stores that, were reputable for trading gold and silver for items, you're really going to be looking into a black market now. Now, how do you find the black market? Where are these people? You're going to be involved with criminals. If the banks are dealing with total SHTF and they're shut down, you're not getting to them. Plus, if you have this all in a safe deposit box, you're not getting to it either. So if you have all this stuff stashed away at home, your target there, how are you going to be able to trade it? If people around you don't want it, you're going to have to take a bunch of these together and find someone who's going to trade that, and you're dealing with the black markets, criminals, and criminality. Now, reading a lot of these accounts and stuff like that going on, is you heard about people, trading jewelry and all that stuff. And what was interesting was the number of accounts that you'd read where people had a lot of jewelry to go trade. Well, they got robbed, everything from them stolen, and they made back with nothing. So finding the criminals is going to be hard. Finding the people willing to trade for it's going to be difficult. Prices are extremely dynamic. You're not sure what they're going to be. Everything's changing constantly. And you're really, really risking yourself badly in a way you shouldn't. When SHTF's going on, you want to hunker down with your group. You want to organize. You want to establish lines. You want to establish, medical triage. You got all these other things to do. You don't need to be running out there with a bunch of gold and silver trying to trade it for something. It's just not going to work well on that. Now, say time passes, and we're talking a significant amount of time. The new normal's establishing. People are getting a little more stabilized. They kind of know what to expect, what's going on in the area. Then, if you have a stable area, a stabilized, lawful area, or one that you can reasonably navigate, then you might be able to trade gold and silver for something. Then people might be more interested in luxuries, and gold and silver could be a luxury for something, making jewelry or other things, or they actually want to see it as a currency value. And then you might really see that. But until you see that new normal develop, until things stabilize enough, you're not really going to be able to trade gold and silver effectively in my mind. I really don't see it. And a lot of the accounts I've read of people doing stuff and where they've gone through major disasters or wars and stuff like that, barter really revolved around sustenance. What you needed to survive. The other items, it was only if someone was super well off in sustenance and they had other things, or they're preying upon other people, are they willing to try to mess with those kind of things. They're not interested in that otherwise. It's all around bullets, guns, food, water, medical supplies, that sort of thing. And I hope that makes sense to you. I hope you can understand what I'm talking about and why I'm pointing this out. For the channels that are pushing these really hard, saying you need gold and silver, buy, lots of gold and silver, I don't agree with them at all. I really don't. I consider it bad wisdom. Because you may have a ton of this, there ain't enough hot sauce in the world to choke it down. You ain't getting it down. It's not going to happen. And sadly, I can't eat this stuff anymore because, as I mentioned, I've got a major allergy of peppers, so it's for other people's enjoyment to come over here to eat. Or Lee eats it. Rarely. She's not a huge hot sauce fan. It's my other friends that like it. But there's my point about gold and silver is, unless you have everything else squared away, you got food out the wazoo. You got medical supplies for you and everyone else in the group. You got an endless supply of water, man. You got ways to purify it. You've got books and knowledge stacked high. You're ready for everything. And truly, no one's ready for SHTF. No one. I keep working on it, and even if I had my dream set up, I would not be ready. But anyways, that's my point is, unless you got everything, truly everything, I don't see this as what you want. What's going to establish as a currency in the new societies that form after the giant collapse in the Great Epoch? Who knows? Are you sure it's going to be this? Who knows? I mean, I could easily see currency revolving around ammunition. Salt. I mean, there's something that was an ancient currency in the past. Salt is going to be extremely important. Shows sugar. Those might be the new currency. How many pounds of salt represented by some note or something like that? I don't know. But you get the point I'm trying to make here. Is stock up on immediate sustenance supplies. Food, water, medical, shelter, purification, knowledge, things like that. Gold and silver, it can wait. It really can. So don't go sticking a bunch of money in that. Concentrate on the other stuff first. Hope this helps. Love to hear some comments on this. Take care, everyone. This is Reed, out for now.